I wanted to make sure that everybody had time to hop on because I feel like tonight we need to just really dig deep and get to the root of a couple of things, because I've had numerous chats with a ton of different coaches on this team and also just coach friends that I have in other downlines. And the feeling is mutual that right now there's just kind of a heaviness going around. So by a show of hands, anyone feel like they've felt the funk recently in the last few weeks, months, where you're just like, you don't know where your motivation, you don't know where your passion, you don't know where anything is. Like, it's just like blank. Like, you sit there and you stare at the wall at the end of the night when you should be like fired up to work your business, and you're just like, man, you know, like it's just monotone. I have felt it, and I know that, well, because of the conversations I've had with some of you, I know that I'm not alone. So I definitely had it on my heart to host this call to give you some tough love, but also some encouragement, to give yourself some grace, and to give you tangible things that you can do to pull yourself out. Because I was in the yuck about a week ago, and I am no longer in the yuck, and I don't want any of you to stay there in that space, because it is not good for you. It's not good for the people around you. But when you're in it, it can feel so paralyzing, right? Like, it feels like, I don't know how to crawl out of this. So I want to just chat with you about a few things to pull you out of it, because like I said, you don't need to be there. So first is to admit that you're in it. When I'm in those I struggle with anxiety. So for me, that's my dark place. And when I'm in it, I don't always realize that I'm in it. And the first thing is just being like, okay, I am not in a good place. But then, like, I was chatting with Brittany about this last week. She hit it right on the head, because the most frustrating part about being in that space is all of us have read enough personal development to know better. And so the infuriating piece of it is like, you shouldn't be allowing yourself to be in that energy, but you are, and you don't know how to snap out of it. And is that relatable to anybody? Like, you know better because you've read the books, you know the good things that you should be surrounding yourself with, but you're just like, meh, just like no emotion or too much emotion or whatever it is. You aren't in a good space. You don't feel good about yourself, and you're just wanting to reach for more. So admit that you're there, own up to it, look yourself in the mirror if you have to in the bathroom, be like, I'm not in a good place. Let's figure out how to do this, how to crawl out of it. So these are literally the things that I did last week. I did all of these things. And this is going to take more than just saying you're going to do these things. Like, you actually have to do them. Some of them you will feel ridiculous doing. I'm just going to warn you right now. But I almost guarantee that this will help. And if it doesn't, you guys, I'm being totally serious when it is okay, when I say it is okay and necessary to seek professional help. If this is not pulling you out of the yuck, there could be more going on with your mental health where you need to seek counseling or something more than these tactics. If this doesn't work, I want you to seek help, because right now is really hard. This season that we're all living in, this pandemic, the anger between people over what party they're going to vote for, like, there is a lot to carry around, a lot. Okay. So it is okay to ask for help. That is my disclaimer. Okay. Okay. Number one, if you have put down that personal development, you probably should pick it back up, because I hadn't been reading personal development for like 3 weeks straight because I was too busy. I had too much going on with my building project. I was there at 7 a.m. I was there till 4 p.m. getting home, doing the dinner, doing all the things, and then getting to 8 p.m. when I normally work my business, and I would just scroll social media because I felt so paralyzed by everything going on in my life. You guys, personal development, you have to pick it up. You have to press play on your Audible. You have to pick up that book. No matter how inconvenient it feels, you need to be doing it every freaking day. 10 minutes, non-negotiable minimum. Okay. That should be a no-brainer, but it's a good reminder for those of us who have set it down. And you need to have a book that's going to fire you up. If you're reading your book and you're like, oh, yawn, this is boring, or it's not speaking to you, pick a different one, okay? Do something that's going to pull you from that negative space that you're in. You need to rally your positive peeps. I cannot stress this one enough. If I had enough minutes in my day, I would be that person to every single human on this team, whether they were building a business or not. But I cannot be everyone's human. Like, you need to reach out, find somebody else on this team, find somebody else, maybe even in a different network marketing business. Like, find somebody who is going to call you on your BS, who's going to be like, girl, why are you thinking that way? That you are listening to lies. Like, you need to find those people that you can lean into. And I'll be honest, when I was in this funk, I could easily tell that I was in it because my thread with my people was crickets. We hadn't talked in like 2 weeks. And that is there's a correlation in those conversations and my attitude towards positivity and passion and loving this job. So I was putting that on the back burner as well as my PD. And so I was digging myself in this hole. So you have to lean in and have those maybe vulnerable, uncomfortable conversations right away when you're like, hey, I'm in the suck right now. And I need somebody to just like shake me and tell me like some actual truth in my life. Okay. You need to find those people, find them, search for them, never stop looking until you find them. And right goes hand in hand with that one is to cut out the negativity. So this means unfollowing people on Facebook that are just spewing hate about whatever agenda they want to, whether it's pandemic or politics or whatever. Like, you don't need any of that in your life. You've got enough you're dealing with up here. You don't need other people's stuff to carry around. Unfollow it. Like, don't listen to the people that are the doubters and the naysayers. Like, you literally have to cut them out. Fill your soul and your days with your positive peeps that you're going to reach out to combat all of that negativity. Like, cut out the news. Like, you don't need to be that informed. Really, you don't need to watch the news. You could just turn off your TV for a whole week, and guess what? The world will still continue to spin, sometimes out of control, but you don't have to carry that around. You don't need to be watching the news every freaking day to depress you even more. Like, just cut it out. Totally cut it out for your own health, your mental health. Get out in nature. Okay. Just get some fresh airs. Get out there, see the beautiful fall colors, breathe deeply. If you need some breathing deep meditations, Bod just came out with some amazing ones. I have gone through the program. It is amazing. I'll probably just continue to repeat the 21 days until they add more variety in there because they're seriously so good. So I also started that into my darkness to pull myself out of that. I got 2 more. This next one, this is the one that I was like, you're going to feel silly and ridiculous. But I promise you it works. And I've had multiple conversations with other people who have been doing this over the last week, and they will tell you that it completely changes your mood, recharges your energy. Like, it just does. You need to dance. And I have been doing it every morning with my Energize when I'm mixing it up. If you go to my Instagram stories, I didn't do an Energize one today. I did a Shakeology one. And Mari caught me and she was so embarrassed, and it was epic. It was so adorable and it was just the best. But I kid you not, put on a song that just makes you dance, make a Triller. That's what I create all of my little dancing videos on. I didn't know how to use it a week ago, you guys. Never had the app, never opened it. Like, you have to learn new things and be willing to get uncomfortable. make a dancing video. Be absolutely awkward and ridiculous. Just freaking do it. It will totally change how you feel, how you're looking at the world, and it is an instant boost to your endorphins. I promise you. And then the last one, okay, and then I want to just open it up for just a little bit of chat and conversation and ahas, because I want to hear from you guys. But I wanted to keep this short and sweet because you guys, we don't need to stay in the yuck. I don't want to spend an hour preaching at you on all of the difficult ways to take you from that funk into being passionate again, because it can be a light switch moment if you are deploying all of the strategies to give yourself a fighting chance. It is so comfortable. This is just me speaking for me, comfortable to sit in my anxiety because I'm used to it and it's predictable. And I know I can literally predict every feeling that I'm going to have. So it's uncomfortable for me to lean into like pulling myself out of it. So my last point that I really, really want to drive home, you guys, is that you are literally the only human on the planet that can do this work. You cannot say that, well, this is so-and-so's fault as to why I am in this space. This is my husband and I, we got in a fight and that's why I'm here. No, it is not his responsibility. It is not your best friend's responsibility or your sister or your mom. Like, you are the only person in charge of the energy that you put out in the world, that you allow yourself to sit in. You have to take ownership. You do. If you want to feel good about this business because it lights you up like it does for me, but you're in that yucky space, you have to own up to the fact that you are the one who is going to pull yourself out of it. You do. I literally walk into my bathroom and I look myself in the eye and I'm like, this is not okay anymore. We are not going to sit here. We're going to look at this list. We're going to do all of these things because it's worthy work. Like, you showing up on your social media with positivity, genuine, authentic positivity, not just going through the motions positivity, is going to ignite that positivity in other people, which in turn might mean that they reach out to you and they're like, I want what you are doing. Like, I want to be dancing in my kitchen. And I love that. I keep talking about Brittany because she's right next to my screen right here, but she's like, I vowed to never be one of those girls who was peppy and dancing on my social media. And she is, and she's adorable. And it's so contagious, you guys. But I don't want you doing that just like floating through it. Like, I want you to have that passion inside of you that I know all of you have for this job. Otherwise you wouldn't be on this call. But you have to do the work. Like, you have to be reading, you have to be reaching out to your positive friends. You have to be cutting out the negativity. You have to be dancing. You have to be getting in nature, taking deep breaths, giving yourself a chance. And I just want to say again, if this doesn't pull you out, it is 100% okay and not shameful to ask for more professional help to help you get out of that. It might mean antidepressants for a time being, for a season, to get you back to where it's more stable. That is okay. Shouldn't be a stigma on that. I genuinely want you guys to have joy, to love this job because you are changing other people's lives because of your joy. And I really, really hope that you can just look yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, we're going to do this. It's go time. So what questions do you have? What ahas, anything, personal testimonies you want to share? I would love to hear them because we're all better when we share together. So you can unmute yourself. We can chat. And then we'll call it a night. Vulnerability is beautiful.
I'll say hi everybody. I just wanted to say, I swear to God, I typed you a message like 3 times and I erased it because I was like, oh, I don't need to come crying to you all the time with when I'm feeling stuck and overwhelmed and whatever. And so I just left it. And then I saw this post and I was like, oh my gosh, perfect timing. But I had also been thinking that I wanted to let my accountability group know kind of what was kind of going on with me and how I was feeling. But then I didn't know if that was appropriate because I'm supposed to be the leader of the pack and, holding it all together, whatever. But I had just reached out to one of my good friends and she's like, you should totally do that because it's so real. And, she's just like, everybody would really appreciate it. They just, whatever. So I did. I made a quick video, didn't edit it, nothing. And then I just posted it and I got really good feedback. I don't know what I was so scared of, but I just basically told them I was in this funk and nothing's normal right now with COVID, with politics, with family, with school, everything is just so overwhelming right now. I just was like not handling it. So anyways, I just told them that I was going to try and give myself some grace and, practice what I preach. And, if all I did that day was a walk, I was going to be okay with it. And, I was going to get back into the swing of things when I could. And, so anyways, I was totally vulnerable to my group and it turned out okay. So I just wanted to share that. It's a big first.
Yes, I watched your video because you have me in your group just to kind of check on things. And I thought it was beautiful and relatable, and it helps everyone else realize that you don't have to be perfect. Like that's not what they may think, like that's your expectation of them, is that they have to have this perfect track of workouts and nutrition in order to be successful. And that's just not true. So you leading from the front is beautiful. I thought it was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Anyone else want to share?
Okay, I'm going to be that person. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I have my headphones in and I didn't know. So I think the biggest thing for me was to actually I kept beating myself up because I knew I was in that funk instead of just actually accepting it to then move on. And I think once I did that, that was a huge turning point, along with so many of the things that you also said tonight. But just knowing that it was okay and accepting that versus attacking myself even more than because I was in this funk and I knew I was in this funk and I couldn't get myself out of the funk. So it just kind of was a spiral, but just accepting it and knowing that it's okay. And then I just felt okay, I can bless and release and move on now because I'm not beating myself up for feeling that way.
Exactly. Amen. It's knowing and accepting it so that you can feel your feels instead of just being those feelings are stupid and I'm going to push them under a rug and not deal with them. And then it just stays and festers instead of just owning up to it. Totally agree. Totally.
First of all, I want to say hi because I feel like it's been forever since I've been in one of these groups and I got teary-eyed. I'm sure you guys saw my face got a little choked up because it's been forever and I miss you all so much. But one thing I wanted to touch on was what you guys have kind of came full circle around saying is what hit me finally was when I realized I need to be the person that there are other people in the world that need to hear from me for where they're at. I feel like I joined Beachbody in a place in my life. I was struggling, but I was moving out of it. So I was being that positive, come follow my positive journey, everyone, Mm-hmm. And so now I feel it hit me the other day when I realized it sucks to be in this place, but there are so many other people that want to hear from me or from us that could totally relate and benefit from it. And that's when I was why am I hiding my truth from others when I know, I feel it, that everyone else could relate and benefit from it too. And also I want to touch on Andrea's comments about therapy. I started therapy 6 weeks postpartum and it was the best thing I've ever done, by far the best thing I've ever done. And it took forever for me to admit I needed it, but now she's my best friend and I'm hey, the other day she was so I think we're good. And I'm nope, we're going to keep talking because I don't want to be done yet. So totally agree with that. If it need, and it's not like, I even told her, I'm like, when I started therapy with you, I feel like I didn't really need it. My doctor suggested it, and I was like, sure, why not? I met my deductible, like, might as well. And then you realize, you start talking to her, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have so much going on. So for sure beneficial. But anyway, I miss you all. I hope you guys are all doing well.
So good to see you.
Okay, I'll go. I told myself I wasn't going to share, but apparently I need girl time because so my struggles, and we haven't shared on social media, but my husband and I are expecting in April. So I have all the hormones, I have all the crap, I have the all-day sickness, the fatigue, like I should be asleep right now, and I'm like a moderate baby grandma, so like I can stay up till like 9:30, but like lately it's been super early anyway. So I feel like I feel like I know this is our first kid, and I almost feel like it's pre-partum depression, and I don't know if that's a thing, but like, and I might cry because my hormones are jacked right now, but like my body is so different. It feels weird. I feel like I don't know who I am. My clothes don't fit. Like one minute I'm happy, the next minute I'm like the biggest witch in the world, and it's like I'm trying to work out but I don't feel good, and I'm tired, and I'm trying to run my groups, I'm trying to be there for my ladies, and it's like I'm not there for you because I don't feel good enough, and I'm scared because through my job, director, if you guys don't know, I see a lot of miscarriages and I take care of a lot of babies. And I'm scared that if I work out and I jump or I do my lunges or I'm going to lift too heavy, I'm going to hurt my baby. And I can't talk to people about that because they don't get it. And Chris is, he's very supportive, but you can only go so far, And so when Andrea posted that we were going to have this talk, it's like, so it's not just a crazy hormonal new mom trying to figure it out. So not that I'm happy that we're all in a funk, but I'm happy to know that there are other people in a funk who need to talk and do these things too, because like, I don't know what's happening in my life right now. Like, I feel like I'm holding on by a thread.
Well, first of all, I wish I could hug you right now because that's like my instinct. I just want to reach through this phone and just like give you the biggest hug, because growing a human and in the midst of all of this other heavy stuff that is everyone's carrying around, and your job and what you just described, like that is more than what most moms carry around. Like you need to give yourself so much grace, and you don't have to work out right now. Like if you're exhausted, don't work out. I'm giving you a permission to like
Thank you.
Rest. Like rest your body. You're growing another human being. Like you have other things that you can focus on. You can focus on choosing one healthy thing versus something else in your meal plan. Like do things that are manageable and that are going to be relatable to other. Once you do share, you can start talking about those things. Like, I'm not Superwoman. I can't do all of this right now. So I'm going to focus on what I can do, which is what Heather was saying also. Like, don't beat yourself up over not being perfect right now. You've got so much on your plate.
Macy, I for sure could. First of all, congrats, but I can relate to you. I'm looking at my husband because I know he knows what I'm going to say next. I can relate to you, but I pretty much like ruined my pregnancy over being stuck in where you're at, because I destroyed my like self-perception when I was pregnant because of all the things you just said. I was so hard on myself, like so hard on myself. And I never once accepted the fact that I was growing a human. Like I was just stuck in this phase of like, I worked out, I was in the best shape of my life before I got pregnant. And as I got pregnant, I was just like, same with you. I want to work out. I have to stay fit. I have to be active. And in hindsight, had I known that I would be able to not bounce back as fast as I could, but had I known that I can work out after I'm done, I can eat healthy, everything will be okay. Like life will go on after baby and you'll be able to get back to yourself, you know. But I pretty much like just ruined my whole pregnancy over being so mad at myself the whole time about not being able to do all the things. So I wish more than anything I would have reached out earlier and heard what Andrea just said and actually like let myself feel it, because you should enjoy this time. It is, and I get it, like obviously the hormones are still raging for me too, clearly. But I just want to share, like, that is not an uncommon thing. And I actually talked to my doctor about it, and she said it is not uncommon to have like a what did she call it, Brandon, that depression thing I had? Like, it was like early term depression or something like that. I don't know what it was, but all of it. So just give yourself grace, because yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And yeah, just remember that you don't have to do all the things when you're pregnant at all.
Oh, thank you for giving me permission, because I think that I needed as stupid as it sounds, I needed that permission, because I got into the best shape of my life. We did that thing in May and I lost 9 pounds. I have not seen that number on the scale since. Obviously my work clothes don't fit. I'm already having to buy maternity clothes and I'm not showing yet. And I'm almost 14 weeks. And I bought my baby book a month and a half ago. And it's like, what are you most looking forward to? How was your first trimester? I'm like, honestly, it sucks. And it's, you know, like that meme that's on a sweatshirt. It's like 2020's 1 out of 5 stars. Would not recommend. Like,
Yeah.
I feel about pregnancy right now. Like,
Same. I felt that way in the first trimester.
Sorry, baby, I'm just not a fan yet. And I hate to say that someday. Like, sorry, I loved you from the beginning, but you really treated me like crap when I was giving you space in my body.
So relatable. And when you are sharing, you need to share stuff like that, because you will get so many other moms who are like, oh, thank you for saying that.
Well, and that's totally going to change my demographic of people, because I've said many times, I can't relate to you moms. Like,
right.
And now it's going to be like working moms who are wearing heels and the pencil skirts and trying to find a daycare. And it's like the pandemic. Do you know how many people are pregnant right now? I have called all of our daycare people, and she's like, you're the 8th mom who's called me who's delivering in May and April. And I'm like,
oh. Maybe you need to open a daycare.
Apparently. Yeah, because they're going to be freaking full. Oh, I feel so much better.
Oh, good, Macy. I'm so excited for you. I'm pumped for your announcement whenever you decide to do that.
Thanks. It's going to be a good one. We just got to wait for my cat's diabetes to get under control, so he gets the feeding tube out of his nose, and then we're going to put it on Facebook.
Oh.
A whole nother whopper. He's been in the vet for like 10 days, and he's got a feeding tube, and he's got hepatic lipidosis. Like,
oh my.
Don't get a cat during 7 years, but like, I wouldn't recommend cats right now. They're not good. Okay, I'm done.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Anyone else want to share any ahas, vulnerabilities, anything to help somebody else feel normal? We good? I just have to say that I'm just sitting here scrolling through my phone and seeing all your beautiful faces, and that alone can get me emotional now that I'm out of my funk and I'm in my good space. And I just love you guys so much, and I'm so glad that I have these positive humans to plug into and to help me remember what matters, and what's real and not real. That right there is kind of the tipping point for me, is like what I was dealing with for 3 weeks was all lies and not real. And now I'm finally like in my truth. And that's truly what I want all of you to be feeling. So I really hope this helped tonight. And if you have teams of coaches that you want to share this with them if you feel like they're in a funk, and let's just all be those bright lights, real, authentic bright lights that aren't always just flowers and rainbows, but we share the realness of pulling ourselves out of a space like this, because I think the world needs a lot of it right now. So love you all. Thank you for being you. I'll see you later.